Good morning, good morning. Here we go. All right, so when you first want to become a realtor, the first thing you need to do is you need to find a school that you want to attend. Now I'm gonna get into some fees. The school, when you want to sign up to be a realtor, runs you about $500, $495, $500. The CE school, sometimes you can catch them on sale. They be having specials that you can take courses through them. But any school, just know you're going to pay at least $500 just to take the classes to become a realtor. Okay, first and foremost. Then when you take the classes, they normally be about 6 to 8 weeks, I believe. That's how long our class was. Now, if you fail the class, you will have to retake the class, and that's another $500. So when you go in there to do your studies, you want to make sure that you're focusing on what you need to focus on. And when you're studying, a lot of times you're not getting the information. That's because the way that a lot of instructors, at least the instructors that I had for the school that I went to, basically we went through a whole math book in 24 hours. Isn't that crazy? Like, because we was just skipping over chapters. Like, we'll do 3 hours here. By the time we do 3 hours, we just with the chapter 1 to chapter 7 to chapter 21 down to chapter 32 back over to chapter 8. Like, we was just all over the book. You know what I mean? So it was like crazy the way they was trying to clam everything in. But what helped me along the way was I took classes on the CE shop, and I was online on YouTube. Thank you, YouTube University, the Prep Agent, and the Wizard. Okay, I was listening to some of those, and they helped me with, especially Prep Agent, with the words and just listening to them, because I would put Prep Agent on in my car whenever I'm going somewhere, and I put the vocabulary part on so that I can just hear the vocabulary. Because a lot of times, you audio is the best teacher, because you reading it, and sometimes people read and not comprehending, but when you're listening to the words, you like, okay, and then you constantly playing the same video over and over till you got them words, and then now you're able to know exactly what those words mean. So Prep Agent helped me a whole lot. I went to the school of Omega, and then I did Prep Agent, and I did the Wizard Agent, or the Wizard, I think the Wizard something, on YouTube also. Those are courses that I stuck with, and I took extra courses on the CE shop. Okay, the CE shop had some courses that I took that helped me before I took my exam. Because when I took my first exam, right after I got out of school, I scheduled an appointment the week after I got out of school, and I failed the exam. That thing hurt my heart. Yes, because I assumed that I knew what I was going there for. But when I got that exam, baby, it wasn't nothing that I learned in school. I put it that way. Because it wasn't, nothing was familiar. Like the way the wording was with the exam, the wording was so that, like, when you're reading it, you like, I'm not understanding this. I'm not getting this. Like, because we flew through the process of the schooling. Like, when I got ready to take the exam, it was like crazy. So what I did was, and that was in like November of 21. So then I was like, okay, maybe because I was nervous. And then I was talking to the different family members, and they was like, well, maybe because you was nervous. So I was like, all right, I scheduled another appointment and took it the second time. And that was a week later. I was like, all right, let me calm myself down, and I go take it again. Well, baby, I failed again. I was like, I'm normally a one and done. I can't take this, right? Oh my goodness, my heart was aching. And then now with that fear of two fails, I had one more chance, because out here in Delaware, you only allowed to take the test 3 times. After the third time, you have to go and take the schooling all over again. And that's another thing you need to know. You need to know, when you're taking your exam and you're going to school, how many times do your state allow you to take the exam before you go and have to retake it? Because I know so many people that I've talked to have taken this exam, taking the class itself 3, 4, 5 times. That's at $500 a pop. I'm like, OMG. So, and when you take the exam, Oh, every time you schedule, it's $85. So that's another thing. So every time you schedule to take the exam, either pass or fail, you paying $85 beforehand up front. So that's another thing, an expense. Okay, so just know that every time you take the exam, it's 85. If you have to retake the schooling, it's 500. So when I took the exam the third time, I really waited like almost a year. I had a year from the time that I finished my schooling, which was in November of 21, to take the exam before November of 22. Well, here we are in October of 22. And actually, it's October 18th is when I took the exam and I passed. OMG. When I tell you the feeling that came over me, because that time that I spent studying, and it wasn't so much studying, just getting it in, because so much was going on in my life within that year's time. You know, we had death in the family. We had, I had problems with the house. You know, we just purchased this house last year, March of 21. So we had issues going on with the house, but we had to remodel the basement. Like, it was just a lot of stuff. I had problems with my ankle. It was just like, it was so much. And then one thing, I am a loving grandma, so I don't take, no matter what goes on in my house or with my health, I'm going to make sure I get my babies. You know what I mean? So during the summer month, I have the babies down here for the summer. I have all four of them at the same time. I have seven, but I get the four because the other three, they moms don't bring them that often. But the one set that comes, they brothers and sisters, I bring them all together. Sometimes I try to split them up, but I just like to bring them all together so nobody's missing anything. So I have them all summer, and then during the course of the year, I get them every other weekend. You know, so I make that a priority because grandparents is where it's at. Like, we got to be that stability in those babies' lives. So much is going on out here in the world, and you know, you need to make sure that our babies have another out, you know, and they're not caught up. So enough about the babies. But anyway, all that is what I've been doing, as well as I make hair hats. I mean, I braid hair. So it's like I have so much going on, and in the course of that, I always found time to sit down and brush up on my studies and just keep it consistent, no matter what. My husband would tell you I was just always consistent, and that's the key word, being consistent on your studies. It's not so much that study, study, study. You got to be consistent. Like when I finish eating, let me sit down and do an hour of reading. You know what I mean? 20 minutes, something. Listen to some audio, just something to keep my mind abreast to what I am going forth and what my new career is for. So when I went and took the exam October 18th, and I passed that exam, baby, when that young man handed me that certificate, and that's another thing, like the paper they hand you, because my information's on this, I don't want to be out. It's just like this, a paper, but I'm thinking it's just a piece of paper. But when I talked to the people I'm assigned with, they was like, "No, that is your certificate." Well, luckily I didn't bend it up. Because, you know, sometimes when you get in your car, you'll fold things and put it up your sun visor. But I didn't. I sat it on the seat and just left it there or whatever. So, and luckily I didn't bend it. So I'm going to make sure I frame that. But that's my certificate. But I was just so overwhelmed. Like, only thing I do is cut my phone on and call my husband and just be like, "Oh, baby, I passed." Like, tears. I was crying for 2 days. Like, I'm able to come do this video now because I was like, it's important and I need to get out there. But I was crying for 2 days. Like, it was so overwhelmed because I really worked hard on trying to get this license underneath my belt so that I can start training to be the best real estate agent out there. Okay, and that's my goal. You know what I mean? I love people. I love to help people. And I just want to be able to help families get into their dream home. You know, and the point that I and myself and my husband just purchased this house. Like, I've been through the process, so I know some of the process up front, and it's still fresh. So, and I was like, and what I went through with that, you got to see some of my other video that's on my hair page, where I talked about the process on that end. I may cancel those videos and bring them over here to this video, but we'll see. But anyway, that's another situation. But I only wanted this to be 10 minutes long, and I'm going to come back. So stay tuned and listen to some of the things that I have to say. I try not to make them too long, but I have information, so stay tuned. And remember, to start the class, it's $500. And once you pass the class, to go take the exam, it's $85. So just know already, $585 you need to put aside. All right. Thank you for watching.